Linguistics is a study about languages, but it has a very complicated history. Europeans once used it to argue that the people that they colonized were inferior to them. Then Nazis, in turn, used it to argue that some of those very European nations, and many others, were inferior to them. Nikolai Marr used linguistics to support Marxist ideas about classes. And the fact that the most prominent linguist, Noam Chomsky, is a self-hating Jew and an apologist for terrorism does not help with linguistics' image. But to surprise of all those who were trying to use it for antisemitic and other evil purposes, linguistics might lend support to one of the most mysterious stories of the Torah. The common scientific understanding is that Homo sapiens evolved from earlier species, and speech evolved as a part of human development. At some point in that process, humans developed language. Each language emerged within its own people, shaped by their particular environment, culture, and way of life. Different peoples lived in very different circumstances and developed at very different rates. And many groups existed with very little or no contact with other civilization. For example, indigenous people of the Americas, Aboriginal Australians, and isolated tribes of the Amazon. You might expect each language to develop a very different structure and very different grammar. You might also expect more technologically and socially advanced societies to have more complex languages. But that's not what we find. Despite of the enormous differences, human languages share many fundamental properties. There are no known human languages that are primitive or incomplete. Every language, for example, has questions and statements. Every language has one versus more than one. Every language expresses negation, not something. And in many other ways, linguists found remarkable similarities among human languages. If these languages developed in different places, cultures, and circumstances, often with little or no contact with one another, why do they have so much in common? The above-mentioned Noam Chomsky tried to explain it by claiming that humans are born with a genetically inherited language blueprint in their brain. But his hypothesis was hotly contested by other linguists, and there is no biological proof that the specific grammatical knowledge is being genetically encoded in our brain. And Chomsky himself had to walk back a big part of his claims. But the answer to this question had been possibly already offered in the Torah thousands of years before linguistics. In the very beginning of the book of Genesis, we read about the story of the Tower of Babel. It says that originally the entire human race spoke only one language, and it was Hebrew. Then God dispersed people, changed their speech, and gave each nation its own unique language. So the world's languages did not each develop completely independently from scratch. Every nation was building their language on the one they already knew before. So is it possible that the discipline that was once used for antisemitic purposes is now indicating support for one of the most mysterious stories of the Jewish religion?